Have you ever felt confused after talking to a man? Like something didn't sit right, but you couldn't explain why? At first, his words may sound caring, reasonable, even romantic. But over time, you start feeling drained, small, or constantly unsure of where you stand. This is not an accident. When a man is using you, his language follows patterns. And once you recognize those patterns, you can no longer unhear them. One of the most common phrases a man who is using you will say is, "I'm just really busy right now." On the surface, this sounds normal. Everyone gets busy. But notice the timing. He's busy when you need clarity, busy when you ask for effort, busy when you bring up emotions, yet somehow never too busy when he wants attention, comfort, or physical closeness. In daily life, this looks like him disappearing for days, then returning with a casual message as if nothing happened. The message behind it is simple. His time matters. Yours doesn't. Another phrase is, "Let's just see where things go." This sentence is not neutral. It is a delay tactic. He uses it to keep access to you without responsibility. In real life, this means months go by with no progress. No labels, no plans, no integration into his life. You meet him on his terms, at his convenience, and you are expected to stay emotionally available while he stays emotionally free. A man who is using you will often say, "Why are you making this such a big deal?" This phrase is designed to shrink your feelings. When you express discomfort, he reframes you as dramatic, sensitive, or irrational. Over time, you may start doubting your own emotional instincts. In daily situations, you might stop bringing things up altogether, choosing silence over conflict, while he benefits from your emotional suppression. Another classic line is, "You know I'm not good at expressing emotions." This sounds honest, even vulnerable. But pay attention to his actions. He may not express emotions, but he expresses desire, needs, and expectations very clearly when it benefits him. In real life, this looks like emotional distance combined with emotional access to you. He receives care, listening, affection, and loyalty, while giving very little emotional reassurance in return. He may also say, "I don't like labels." Labels require accountability. Labels mean clarity. A man who is using you avoids labels because labels limit his options. In everyday life, this means you are introduced vaguely, if at all. You are not fully included in his social world, and your role in his life remains undefined. The benefit? He keeps his freedom while enjoying the benefits of your presence. Then there's the sentence, "I've been hurt before." This one is powerful, because it activates your empathy. He presents himself as wounded, cautious, and fragile. But notice how this pain only shows up when you ask for commitment, consistency, or respect. In real situations, this means you end up being patient, understanding, and self-sacrificing, while your needs are placed on hold indefinitely. A man who is using you will often say, "You're different from other women." This feels flattering at first. But the hidden message is manipulation. If you're different, then you're expected to accept less, tolerate more, and demand nothing. In daily life, this phrase becomes a tool to guilt you into staying silent, staying flexible, and staying available. He may say, "I don't want to lose you." But notice what he doesn't say. He doesn't say, "I choose you." Not wanting to lose you is not the same as choosing you. In real life, this means he reacts only when he feels you pulling away. He gives just enough to keep you close, but never enough to move forward. Another common phrase is, "You deserve better." This sentence sounds self-aware, but it's actually a confession. He is telling you he knows he is not giving you what you need, and he has no intention of changing. In daily situations, this phrase often appears right before he continues the exact same behavior. At this point in the video, if you're recognizing patterns, this is your reminder that awareness is power. This content exists to help you see clearly. And that's exactly why channels like Pure Her are here, to help women reconnect with their intuition, strength, and self-respect. Let's go deeper, because the words a man uses when he is using you often come wrapped in charm, humor, or logic. Another phrase you may hear is, "I'm just not ready for anything serious." The key question is, ready with whom? In real life, this means he enjoys the benefits of a relationship without the responsibility of one. He leans on you emotionally, spends intimate time with you, but keeps his future open, just not with you. A man who is using you will often say, "You're overthinking." This phrase dismisses your intuition. When patterns repeat and you notice them, he reframes your awareness as anxiety. In daily life, this trains you to ignore red flags and trust his version of reality instead of your own perception. He may also say, "I don't like drama." This is usually said right after you express a need or boundary. In everyday situations, this phrase pressures you to stay quiet, agreeable, and emotionally low maintenance. Your needs become labeled as problems, while his comfort becomes the priority. Another common sentence is, "Can't we just keep things light?" Light, in this context, means unaccountable. It means no expectations, no emotional responsibility, and no obligation to show up consistently. In daily life, this looks like late-night conversations, last-minute plans, and an absence of real-world commitment. A man who is using you may say, "I trust you." This sounds positive, but often it comes with an unspoken expectation. You will tolerate uncertainty, inconsistency, and emotional ambiguity without questioning it. In real situations, this means you are trusted to stay loyal while he remains undefined. He might say, "I don't want to ruin what we." This phrase appears when you ask for more clarity or progression. What he really means is that he doesn't want to lose the benefits he's currently receiving. In daily life, this keeps the relationship frozen in a comfortable state for him, regardless of whether it meets your needs. Another subtle phrase is, "You're so understanding." While this sounds like praise, it often rewards you for accepting less. In real life, being understanding becomes a reason you don't receive effort, consistency, or reciprocity. He may say, "I didn't mean it like that," when his words or actions hurt you. Instead of addressing the impact, he focuses on intent. In daily interactions, this invalidates your feelings and teaches you to minimize your emotional responses. A man who is using you will often say, "Let's not complicate things." Complexity is code for accountability. In everyday life, this means avoiding conversations about exclusivity, future plans, or emotional security, while still enjoying closeness and support from you. He might also say, "I'm not like other guys." This phrase is designed to lower your guard. In real situations, it encourages you to excuse behavior you would normally question, because you want to believe he is different. Notice how none of these phrases involve clear intention, commitment, or action. Words without follow-through are the foundation of being used. Awareness is not about blame, it's about clarity. When you see the pattern, you regain control. Now let's talk about how these words affect you emotionally. When a man is using you, his language slowly erodes your sense of certainty. He may say, "I care about you," but his actions don't align. In daily life, this creates confusion, because your mind wants to believe his words, while your body feels the inconsistency. He might say, "I'm not going anywhere," yet make no concrete effort to build something stable. This keeps you emotionally invested while he stays non-committal. Over time, you may feel anxious, waiting for reassurance that never fully comes. Another phrase is, "Why can't you just trust me?" Trust, in this case, is demanded, not built. In real life, this shifts responsibility onto you to accept uncertainty instead of him. providing security. He may say, I need space, but the space only applies when it's inconvenient for him to show up. In daily situations, this often means emotional withdrawal without communication, followed by sudden reappearance when he wants connection again. A man who is using you may say, you're important to me, but avoid integrating you into his life. You may not meet friends, family, or be included in long-term plans. Importance without inclusion is another form of emotional withholding. He might say, I like how easy things are with you. Easy often means you don't ask for much. In everyday life, this reinforces the idea that your value lies in your silence and flexibility, not in mutual effort. Another common phrase is, I'm just being honest. Honesty is used as a shield to avoid responsibility. In real situations, this phrase often follows statements that justify inconsistency or emotional unavailability. He may say, I don't want to pressure myself or you. Pressure here means growth. In daily life, this keeps the relationship stagnant while time passes and your emotional investment deepens. A man who is using you might say, I didn't ask you to do that, when you express feeling unappreciated. This dismisses your effort and reinforces a one-sided dynamic where giving is expected, but never acknowledged. Over time, these phrases condition you to accept less than you deserve. You may start lowering your expectations, silencing your needs, and waiting for potential instead of reality. Recognizing these patterns is not about becoming guarded, it's about becoming grounded. You deserve clarity, consistency, and mutual effort. Words should support actions, not replace them. When a man's language keeps you guessing, doubting, or waiting, it's information. And information gives you choice. Here's the most important thing to understand. A man who is using you relies on ambiguity. His words are designed to keep you emotionally engaged without requiring him to change. He may say, let's take things slow, but slow has no direction. In real life, this means time passes without growth, while you remain emotionally available. He might say, I don't want to label us, because it changes things. Labels don't change healthy dynamics, they reveal unhealthy ones. In daily situations, avoiding labels protects him from accountability, not the connection. Another phrase is, I'm trying. Trying without progress is stagnation. In real life, this phrase often repeats itself without any measurable change in behavior. He may say, I've never felt this comfortable with someone. Comfort without commitment benefits him more than you. In everyday life, this keeps you emotionally invested while he remains undecided. A man who is using you may say, I don't want to hurt you. Yet his actions continue to do exactly that. This phrase is often used to soften the impact of ongoing emotional neglect. He might say, I just need time. Time without intention becomes an excuse. In daily life, this keeps you waiting while he enjoys the present without planning for the future. The truth is simple, even if it's uncomfortable. When a man wants to build something with you, his words become clear, consistent, and backed by action. There is no constant confusion. There is no emotional guessing game. If you recognized yourself in this video, know this. Awareness is the first boundary. You are not asking for too much. You are asking the wrong person. If this content helped you see things more clearly, this is your sign to protect your energy, your time, and your standards. This space exists to remind women of their worth, and that's exactly what Pure Her stands for. If you found value here, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with a woman who needs to hear this today. Your clarity could be someone else's turning point.